Well, good evening, Demon fans, and welcome back to the Demonland podcast. My name is Andy, and welcome back to 2013. It's feeling like that at the moment. I'm not sure what year we've gone back in time to, but it's certainly not 2018, and it's not what any of us were expecting of 2019. Joining me tonight, Grapeviney. Good evening, Grapeviney. How are you?
Just going, Andy, actually, unfortunately.
Yeah,
The season has sucked the life out of me at this stage, I've got to say.
I must say it's taken every bit of my willpower to come on to talk about the D's tonight after the last couple of weeks. I was away last week, so we couldn't do the show. We actually could have done it. I had some equipment while I was away that I could have done the show, but I just couldn't do it. This was even before the Wednesday night debacle. So we didn't get to chat about the Saints game, and probably no reason why we should talk about that game.
I've forgotten who we played and how much they beat us by. It's all becoming a bit of a blur.
I've almost forgotten about the Richmond game. To be honest, it seems so long ago. Almost today. It's almost tomorrow. Will be a week since then. Are there any positives before we talk about any negatives? Are there any positives we can talk about?
Well, we looked good for about 15 minutes in the first quarter, where we suddenly seemed to find a bit of space and a bit of system and what Simon Goodwin loves to refer to as connection. And certainly we put up a good fight for the better part of the game. But, that good spell disappeared pretty quickly, and we returned to the constipated movement that we've seen, ball movement that we've seen for most of the year. So it hasn't been enjoyable watching at all. The skills are no good. There's no system, struggling to score, and prone to having the opposition sort of kick large bags of consecutive goals against us. So really not a lot to write home about, unfortunately.
Those large bags of goals didn't come till later in the game. I was sort of pleased at the beginning of the game. The coach sort of made some preemptive moves and changed things around. We had Melksham in the middle. We had Hibberd on Dusty.
Yep.
Tommy Mack went back and played on Lynch, and I think thank God he was there, because perhaps had he not been, maybe Lynch would have gone berserk. But look, Hibberd did well on Dusty for the game, but I just feel that worked for a little bit. And look, yeah, as you said, we looked good for 15 minutes, and I thought we sort of controlled the game. But again, our forward entries, we're not making the most out of it. And then to have two goals in 3 quarters from a team last year that was one of the highest scoring teams.
Well, we were the highest. We were number one, weren't we?
I mean, what's happened? It can't just be the surgeries over the summer. It can't be. We've had a horror run of injuries as well as all those surgeries. But is it all that, or is confidence? Have we been worked out by the opposition teams? What is it? Or were we duped? Did we play above ourselves last year and just shocked some teams, and now we've been figured out?
I don't know the answer to any of those questions.
I know, we don't have answers.
What say what is what say what? Whatever his name is, has just posted in the injury thread that Dave Misson showed that last year the Demons had 39 players complete a total of 33 training sessions each in the pre-season, and that this year there were just 25 players completing a total of 22 sessions in the pre-season. So that's a very large difference year on year, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, we had all those surgeries, so I guess, but we can't. We're the only team that have had this happen to us. Had this happen to? Look, obviously these things were necessary. I just we've come to a point where I can't see us winning a game this year. I mean, all right, so I'm usually on the negative side of things, but coming into this season, I was quite positive. But now I can't see us beating any team this year.
Yeah, look, who knows? I don't have a lot to offer, unfortunately. As I say, it's just been such an uninspiring start to the season. So,
I mean, even
Sorry,
go ahead. You go.
I was going to say the fascinating thing for me is, remember the first, was it quarter and a half of our first JLT game where we came out and we looked like millionaires?
Yep.
And then pretty much most of the first quarter against Port Adelaide in round one, same, we looked like millionaires. But yeah, other than that has disappeared. And it's a barren landscape at the moment.
I mean, players are out of form. I mean, towards the game, during the game, some of them look lethargic and aren't able to, get back and run and chase, and we're just bleeding goals, which we were bleeding goals some at points last year as well. But we were able to kick goals as well, so I guess it didn't, the situation didn't seem as dire. But I'm like you. I don't even know what to say. I mean, players are so out of form, but we can't keep hiding players in the twos. We've put Oscar to the twos. What do we do? Put Wiedemann in the twos now. Who do you bring in? I look at the twos, and there's no one in there that is inspiring a lot of confidence to come in and replace these guys. I don't know. It's such a loss. But from my headspace going into the year to where it is now with this team, I'm at an absolute loss. If you want to join us and talk to us and maybe counsel us through this, please give us a call, 039016 3666. That's 039016 3666, or give us a call on Skype, Demonland31. If you've got any answers for us, because I'm not getting any out of the club either, because I don't think anyone knows why this happening and what we can do to stem the flow.
John Demonic is asking how big an impact no Jesse in the forward line, and it's the big unspoken thing on Demonland, because so many hopped on the bandwagon of saying he was no good when it became apparent that he was going, or even before it became apparent that he was going for some. And yeah, look, if Jesse was there, it wouldn't be the answer to all our problems, but it would certainly help with some of them.
Well, when you
talk about the connection going forward and his ability to lead up the ground and get the ball between, half forward and wing, or between 50 and wing, we do miss it.
Look, we do miss it, particularly when we're getting nothing from Wiedemann, and when T-Mac was forward,
even less.
So look, I like Tim Smith. He was taking a couple of grabs, but he's not going to be able to. It's just him alone's not going to be able to be the difference. We're definitely missing Jesse. And look, I think at the time people were happy to sort of see him go, because we had this Stephen May. They held up Stephen May in such high regard, but where's Stephen May at the moment? He came to the club quite unfit, is out till July, maybe June, if we're lucky. So we don't even have the replacement there. They identified, Stephen May as, that position as what we needed to sort of complete the picture. But this picture is very underdone, and nowhere near complete.
Well, May isn't even in the picture,
No,
so
so it's just an absolute dog's breakfast all over the ground.
and Graham Yates's mullet also makes a good point in the chat room. 97 turnovers.
I didn't realise it was that high. I'd seen somewhere on the forum that it was 80 or something, but 97, it's just staggering. At the fumbling, I guess that's, the part of it, the part of the Clang. So much fumbling. These are skillful players that were doing great things last year are just looking like amateurs.
Yep.
I know I'm not expecting you to have an answer to that, but I don't, what could have happened? There's no polish whatsoever in anything we're doing. Sometimes we'll string a few good possessions together and it'll just all come apart from a stupid fumble or an easy drop mark, or just our kicking into the forward line. We're either just bombing it in when we should be lowering our eyes and looking for a lead, but there's no leads coming, or times when we should bomb it in, we are lowering the eyes and then fluffing kicks. It's so frustrating to watch. There's no confidence. There's no system. We're a very difficult team to watch, and I'm really not enjoying footy at the moment. It's just depressing. What do we say? What can we say? Do you think it can't all be the rule changes either?
Yeah.
It can't. Look, I don't think it's helped us, but it can't. Every team has had to adjust to this different game. Almost every time we kicked it into our forward line, they seem to have 2 or 3 players by themselves that we were kicking them to. Grimes and Vlosten were just there by themselves, picking off every kick that we put in.
The clean takeaways from the middle, which we saw a lot of last year, Max to Gus or Max to Jack or Max to Clary, or even Harms, is not happening this year. And so whatever advantage we might have taken from 666, we're certainly not capitalising on that.
If we're going to find any positives, again, I liked Salem's game. I liked Marty Hall. I think he reads the play quite well. With Jeddah out of the team. I liked his inclusion. As I said before, I liked Tim Smith. I think he played a better game than both Weeds and T-Mac have played all year, despite dropping an easy mark. Not much else to like.
Jeffy.
Added some zip, but he's in there to kick goals.
Didn't offer a whole lot.
No. I think I'll persist with him for the moment, just because I don't know what else to sort of do.
I mean, we really need Mitch Hannon back there, don't we?
Yeah, Mitch. I think we're really missing Mitch Hannon. We're really missing Vandenberg.
Miss Aaron Vandenberg too, but at this, you got to expect that Vanders is done.
Yeah.
So I'm not including him in any future plans, but Hannon we need and we miss.
Do we call stumps on 2019? Is that it? And we just sort of play
the kids. Well, I made that joke in round 1, if you remember, after our loss to Port, and it's come to fruition.
Well, 1 and 5, like...
Well, at the moment, we can only play so many players anyway, because there's still quite a long injury list, even if they're not all first graders. So, May is still weeks away, Lever is still weeks away, Hannon is still weeks away, Joel Smith.
I'd even play, I mean, I'm not talking even kids. Why not play, Petty, I guess, can be considered a kid. I'd play Petty. I'd play Declan Kelty. Why not? Let's just see what they can do. All right,
Yep.
if we're still playing, trying to turn the season around, maybe not. But in a couple of weeks, if we're 1 or 2 and 8 or 9, and I mean final. Let's be real, finals. We're not going to make the finals this year. Not unless it's a drastic turnaround from next week,
Yeah,
and we're
you
in
just
the
can't see
next
it
12 or
happening. It's
15.
funny,
So
even we did play that brief patch in the first quarter where we looked good. I never had any confidence that it was sustainable, and it proved to be a mirage and didn't and wasn't sustained. So yeah, I don't have that faith either that things are going to turn around.
I mean, even late in the third quarter, when we were still 2 or 3 points down,
Yeah,
we were still. I'd never thought, oh, well, we're just going to kick a couple of goals and get ahead. I always was
no,
waiting for the avalanche, and it eventually did come. Um, folks, it's hard not to. I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy, but there's not much bright side at the moment. So, um, I guess that's this is where we're at the moment. Um, there's not a lot of hope on demonland.com at the moment. Just browsing the threads. I didn't make a. We usually have a running sheet, and I didn't do one today. I was quite busy at work. Um, what's going on the threads? Anything?
well, it's just a compendium of misery, basically.
I mean, you got to feel for Gary Pert in his first year at the club because obviously with the poor form, losing, the losses are going to impact the financials tremendously.
Well, if this is what it's going to be like for the rest of the year, I know that we've got the target 70,000
We're well away from
campaign.
it.
We will dip back towards 40.
Yeah, they'll.
Because people don't want to watch that kind of rubbish.
No, like all those people that signed on this year out of that hope, the people that were barcode hunting in finals who bought a membership this year so they didn't have to do that or wanted to be a part of this, none of them are going to sign on next year.
A lot of people bought, they guaranteed grand final tickets and they had to expand the red legs and trident sections. All that'll disappear.
Yeah,
quickly.
They're gonna take a big hit next year. Obviously, I'm not sure how long the Jaguar the Jaguar sponsorship is for, but they must be sort of kicking themselves at the moment. But look, things can turn around, and perhaps 2020 they will. I just can't see it this year. So I mean, I thought it seemed like there was a poor turnout from D's fans. I know it wasn't our home game.
We were comprehensively whacked in the crowd stakes. Very few Melbourne supporters and a very, very large Richmond contingent.
I think there was 72 or 73,000 in total. That's probably well down on what we would have expected after last year. Had we had won 3 or 4 games coming into it.
The last Richmond home game for ANZAC got 85.
Yeah.
So it was 13 down on that, which is
you would think that's Melbourne supporters predominantly not coming, and that's just going to get worse. Is our home game this week? Or is it Hawthorn's home game?
I'm not sure. Yes, I think it is.
Yeah. So, and just having a look at our draw in the coming weeks. After Hawthorn, we've got Gold Coast away. Not confident on that one, considering how we're travelling. Then we've got to travel to Perth again, back to Perth. I know West Coast aren't playing great at the moment, but they'll tell us. GWS the week after at home, but and then Adelaide in I'm not sure if that's in Darwin or I think it's in Alice, or is in Darwin. TIO, where's that? That's in Darwin.
That's in Darwin.
Yeah, so we've got the Darwin game and then Queen's birthday before the bye. It's not
Yeah, it's
looking
funny.
good.
I mean, we knocked off West Coast and GWS, about 10 games
Yep,
ago. So,
and Hawthorn.
um, in consecutive weeks too. So,
Yeah.
can't see that repeating.
No, so so that's the poor turnouts. That's gonna affect the financials for sure. Yeah, not looking good. All right, well,
We should mention that this week's game is the Pink Lady
yes,
match. So it's good. So I haven't seen any club.
yeah, they haven't
I
done.
haven't seen any club promotion of it. I only learnt about it thanks to Jane on the thread, giving us the heads up. But there doesn't seem to be the same effort or put into promoting it as there used to be. Because those first few years were very big occasions.
Yeah, well,
It just seems to go through a bit more quietly now.
even last year they still had, they do the Pink Lady on the field and they filled up the Pink Lady. But they've always promoted it in some way, usually accompanied by the presentation of the
I thought
jumper.
they've
Are we
stopped doing it on the field, no? I thought they now do it in the park outside.
Well, they definitely did the walk-in. I don't know. Maybe my memory isn't so good. I remember there being something.
I did it. I was out there one year when it was on the ground.
Yep.
And it was an incredible sort of ceremony to be a part of and very emotional. But
I'm pretty sure I remember people on the field last year, whether they made the Pink Lady or not. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I remember people on the field.
I'm just looking in the thread now because someone started the thread asking, have we ever actually won a Pink Lady match?
Did we win a game against the Bulldogs one year?
I think we did.
There was a game where Scully got confused.
Scully
Did we
Pink
win that
socks.
one or not?
No,
I think we lost.
The Pink Socks cost us.
Yes.
But Dame Gaga wrote on the thread, is it the Pink Lady round? I didn't even know. Lack of promotion this year, it seems to me.
I think the club's pulled up
stuff. That seems to be the general consensus. And apparently won in 2005 against the Crows.
Now, someone started...
For what it's worth.
Yeah. Sorry if we feel a bit of...
something that happened 14 years ago.
Sorry if we seem a bit of lacking some energy following this club.
Somewhat cynical tonight.
Yeah, following this club, we'll do that for you. Someone started... We always get these threads pop up every now and again. The Melbourne curse, whether it's the Norm Smith curse or just the curse of being a Melbourne supporter. Are we cursed? I think we've asked this question on the podcast probably in the first year we did it, and I said I don't believe physically there's a curse, as in some spirits controlling destiny, but you got to feel at times. I don't know what it is.
Well, I'm a Tottenham supporter, and I shouldn't say this because I'll admit to cheating on Demon Land, but I do sometimes visit a Tottenham forum.
Oh, that's all right.
Like ours, and it's incredible the similarities. Game day threads full of hotheads asking for players to be banished from the club and to never pull the Guernsey on ever again. And, of course, the belief that the referees or / umpires and the league have got it in for us, being whichever team that you follow. A lot of similarities between behaviour.
Well, speaking of the umpires, I thought we got... It's not the reason we lost the game. I thought we got crucified by them. I think it was nearly at one stage double the amount of free kicks against us. Not saying we were targeted.
We're very clumsy, though.
Yeah.
We give away a lot of clumsy in the backs.
Yes. It's 20-15 in the end, so it ended up not too bad.
Yeah.
And I think the week before we didn't discuss, that was our first non-show Demoland podcast. It was 23-16 in the end. I thought we also got crucified in that game.
I think the umpiring's been poor all year, both within games and from game to game.
Yeah.
Like you say, it's not a factor, but it certainly doesn't add to the enjoyment of or the spectacle of the game. For me, it's just adding to the frustration that I'm feeling with footy generally.
Jack Viney injured again. I guess this one's not a fault of any medical staff or anything. He copped a pretty big whack. But
do we put him in the Jack Viney made me cry thread, or do we start a Jack Viney has been made to cry thread?
Well, he copped a big bump, and you just saw
it was a very big bump.
There was that picture of him sitting on the ground, and he didn't look too impressed. But by a guy who's played 5 games, where's our young guys?
You could just see in his eyes that don't show that you're hurt, don't show that you're hurt. He got up and he walked off
he was
really without flinching.
Yeah.
He braced forward and thought he could handle it.
Yeah.
But Stack got him an absolute beauty.
I'm just trying to. Where are our kids like that come in and make sort of immediate impacts? Haven't had that.
Well, we were doing that last year.
Yeah,
if you remember all the videos put out pre-season, we start again.
Yep. Well, we're really starting.
Oliver doing that crunch.
Yeah.
In the elimination final, Jeddah putting down Selwood, Viney on Ablett. So it's there, but it's not happening at the moment.
No, not firing a shot. Injuries? Do we have anyone coming back? We've got Bruce coming back.
Quite a lot at the 4-week mark now. So Hannon.
So they've been at 4 weeks.
Lever.
So the 6 weeks is gone.
Yep. May is at 3 to 4. And Joel Smith is at 4 too. So that's okay. That's a bit better.
I've got this here. Yeah. So the Jeddah one, we didn't discuss that. That was after the St Kilda game. He's out for 10 weeks. That's a big loss. We've got some big names sort of missing.
He wasn't playing well, Jeddah.
I know, but
maybe he's been. Was he a surgery person?
He
Jeddah?
was.
I think he was.
He was. Yeah.
So look, he hasn't looked right the whole year, and he's a big loss. Think of how integral he's been the last couple of years.
So Jack Viney's been listed on the injury list as a hand. Was that? I thought it was his shoulder.
No, it's shoulder.
Okay.
So the hand was a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And he didn't miss because of that. He had to go for scans though.
I think this list is off AFL.com, and they've obviously just kept that hand in there.
Bruce is a shoulder test, so that's good.
Yeah, I'd get him in. Look, what do you think? We didn't discuss the St Kilda game. He kicked 2 as well. I mean, at least he's kicking goals.
Yeah,
I'll
take it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like this guy's amazing, but he's a big body. You have to put a big guy on him. He's kicked 2 goals in both the games. He's both 2 games.
Yep.
He's kicked. I keep him at the moment. Kolodjasny. I always get that wrong.
Yes.
What's the go there? It's concussion.
Well, just as you asked that, D Zephyr posted at that exact second, what's the story with KK?
Yeah.
And he's hearing rumours that it's the neck issue rather than concussion. So actually we'd prefer, and maybe I'm not saying this right, but you'd prefer it to be the concussion because the neck has been the ongoing problem.
That's right. So
it was misdiagnosed concussion. So he hasn't had a long-term issue with concussion. The long-term issue is with the neck. So if it is the neck reoccurring, then that's bad news.
So I know he was the steak knives in the whole May deal, but it seems like we were sold lemons. I don't want to sound insensitive to the 2 guys, but
the tracker attack, who is one of the one of the more unique posters on Demon Land, described May today as a fat, unprofessional mess, which was a nice turn of phrase that gave me a bit of a laugh. So if nothing else, they're delivering the laughs.
Well, look, I wouldn't go so far as to say that, but we've had both guys are on the injury list have barely put a dent into 2019. May did come back, admittedly himself and the coach saying didn't come in ideal nick. We got screwed somewhere. We lost a 47-goal-a-year player. We got pick 6, and we just gave it away. Someone's made out like bandits, and it's not us. You just got to laugh. I mean, look, I think someone asked the question of Goodwin, and he said, well, if they trades come off, we look like heroes, and when they don't, you look like fools. And I think we're looking the fools at the moment. But look, time will tell. You just got to laugh. Sorry,
a fat, unprofessional mess. That wins the internet for the day for mine.
I think it describes all of us.
Somebody else points out.
Sorry, I've just got
May is going to be a free agent in 16 weeks. So maybe we can put him back on the merry-go-round and replace him with someone else.
Look, people. A friend of mine who lives interstate messaged me, St Kilda supporter. Messaged me, what's the he always every few weeks checks in on me and said, what's the feeling on Demon Land, and I always just send him back a gif or something of like a dumpster fire or SpongeBob running around like a madman, and the thing I sent back to him was the first thread at the top of the homepage of Demonland, which was the 2019 draft and trade targets thread. Sent him just a screenshot of highlighted of that thread. So I mean, honestly, if we're not going to make finals, what would you prefer out of the year? I'm not going to say would you prefer us to tank. I'm not going to use the T word. But would you prefer us to finish somewhere down the bottom of the ladder rather than win a couple of games and end up sort of 12th, 11th, 10th? What would you prefer, honestly?
No, we need to play as well as we can. We need to play as well as we can. The club is not big enough to spend time down the bottom of the ladder again. We just can't afford to do it.
No, I'm just talking about 1 year. I'm talking about 1 year.
Yeah, no.
Let's just make out like bandits.
It's better than that, so it's a no for mine.
Yeah, I'm undecided at the moment of what I want. One part of me sort of wants that, but the other part of me knows that we're just gonna, sell them for some magic beans and get screwed in the deal. I can just see us sort of trading away pick 1 or 2 for some GWS player who then has some miraculous injury that he can't overcome. But that's very MFC SS of me. I thought I was over it. It seems like it's back. With a vengeance.
You're not the only one afflicted, that's for sure.
So the curse, it's not real? There is no curse?
No curse.
No curse. Is there anyone in the mid-season draft? Does the mid-season draft work on... do we get first pick in the mid-season draft? Is that how that works? Being bottom of the ladder?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Maybe someone in the chat room can let us know.
Yeah, someone mentioned the curse of the Demonland banner, but I don't buy that because I think anyone we would have put up on the banner this year, you could make that case for.
I definitely thought at the time that May was hadn't earned a right to be up there yet. So
first of all,
particularly front and centre.
Yeah, I know, but like the artwork was Sports Berserker. I follow him on Twitter. the artwork was just so fantastic when he showed me. I thought I have to do it. And I don't buy into this. You have to earn a place on the who's the Dreamland banner to, for you to have to earn your spot there.
Yep.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. But changes for this week, realistic changes rather than just the whole team.
Viney's out.
Viney's out. Are we at the stage where it's just moving around deck chairs on the Titanic at the moment? Or...
Well, at the moment it is. Look, it'll be good if Bruce can come back. Would they do a straight Viney for Bruce? I'm not too sure, and I haven't really thought too much about it. But as we said, there's until those sort of 4 or 5 players get back, there's not really a lot going on in the twos. I mean, Oscar's still there, so he's an option, but he's, a particular type of position. Sparrow could come in, but, he's not going to... You can't expect him to sort of be the game changer in any way. So there's not a lot there until Hannon, Lever and May are ready to come back, and they will make a difference.
I know Hawthorn haven't been setting the world on fire with their games this year, but I'm worried about their forward line. Roughhead, Bruce, they've got Wingard in there now, Puopolo, Gunston.
Yep. Although they are not playing great footy either at the moment.
We have a habit of playing teams into some good form. In case you're not aware of that.
I'm not taking anything for granted this year. Who knows?
We're playing on Saturday. It's a 1:00 game, 1:45. I don't mind.
We could find ourselves back in those unwanted time slots next year if the rest of the year doesn't go according to plan.
What's the weather forecast? Please don't rain. We don't have a good record against Hawthorn in the wet. Saturday, 16, and it's got clouds and it says no rain. Mostly cloudy, 16, no rain. I'll take that.
Graham Yates Mullet has asked, does Wiedemann get dropped? I don't think so. I mean, there's no doubt he's not in form, but he's better off. There's no one really to come in for him either, but he's got to play.
John Demonic said someone mentioned Maynard for Viney. Look, I haven't. Did you watch Casey this week? I was interstate, so I didn't see anything. Didn't really hear anything. I stayed sort of away from Dreamland and social media because I just couldn't handle it. Does we get dropped? I don't know. Look, he's got doesn't seem like he's playing with any confidence at the moment. So do you put him in the twos? Does that harm the confidence? I don't know. I guess if we're gonna play T-Mac down back,
he has to play almost.
He almost has to play, or do you? I mean, you can't just have Bruce and Tim Smith.
He's young. He's better off. He's better off playing against the big boys and learning against the big boys than the little boys in Casey.
Yeah, no use him going to Casey and kicking a bag. No. Like, all right, might get his who knows whether that will get his... I don't know. I think we've got to play him. Certainly not doing himself any favours in the contract renewal stakes. Rusty Nails asks who covers Puopolo. Good question.
Yep. Great question.
Why
are you asking us, Rusty?
Yeah, that's right. I have no idea. I came into this season thinking we're going to finish top 2.
Even Bin Man isn't bothering this week.
Well,
so
he failed because he called in prior to the St Kilda game.
That's right.
We didn't win.
So he's gone back to Casey too, Bin Man?
Yeah, well, I think we should all go back to Casey.
We all, Look, I've both spent less time on Demonland. The fact is, as I've mentioned a couple of times during the podcast, my interest in the season is diminishing week by week.
Well, it's funny you should say that. Looking at the statistics, page views and stuff go up when you're playing poorly. But what I think it is, I think what it is the hardcores, the people are talking more, but you're not necessarily attracting. Oh, we do have a caller. Not necessarily attracting. Oh, we'll get Bim Man on. Good evening, Bim Man. How you doing? You still with us? Bim Man, you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, now I can hear you.
It's Bin Man. I'm calling in because I have to add a bit of positivity
Please.
to the show. I've done my time. I've proven that I'm not the difference between winning and losing. That was my goal with the St Kilda game. I have to tell a quick story. I went away for the Easter period and a bit beyond, and I waited till Tuesday. I waited that whole period after the game. I went up to Harcourt, stayed up at Harcourt, and a complete media blackout, and watched the St Kilda Apple Country. That's right, apple cider country, and watched the St Kilda game when I got back, not knowing the results. I had a media blackout from Saturday afternoon, which was quite impressive because I was in and out of towns and whatnot. And the fella who I was staying in at Airbnb, and he was a St Kilda fan, as it turns out, and I got a gift of Melbourne socks. And he went to say, "Oh, are you a Melbourne fan?" And I screamed at him. He thought I was crazy. He's like, "No, don't say anything. Don't say anything." And I wish now he had, because I got back and watched it, and it was a horror show. And then I only had 24-hour turnaround for the Richmond game. And I was all set to go, and I just couldn't bring myself to go to that game. And normally I'd go. But I think that we're going to win this week.
Oh, wow. Wait, before you
give
go,
us your theory, how?
Before you get onto that, are you saying you waited Saturday, Sunday, Monday until Tuesday to watch the St Kilda game?
I did, and
how did you do that?
And
not
with my mate KO Sports, and it's terrific actually. And unlike my other AFL thing where you've got to somehow shut your eyes and squint to try and get the live pass replay, KO Sports have got it set up so they don't say any scores on the front cover. So it's brilliant for as live sport watching.
Yes.
So Saturday afternoon all the way through was.
How did you do that? I mean, I'm on. I guess it depends how in deep you are with social media and stuff like that, but it's pretty hard to avoid unless you turn off
my phone off.
Yeah, unless you do that.
I turned my phone off. I'm a punter, so I had the races going up till 4. From that point, no media. I tried not to go into stores. I tried to, I've done this before, and I've walked into a bottle shop and the scores have been on the news or something. But I really wish I hadn't bothered. But it was a funny game, that one, and I thought we were sort of in it, but they just wanted it more, didn't they? They were fierce, and they really rattled our cage, and that was a sort of most concerning thing. As I said when I called in before that game, for me it's by far the biggest factor in football. When I hadn't seen it on Demonland, but I'm fascinated that Misson's come out and mentioned the training stuff, because it's sort of a cultural no-no to blame injuries and training and lack of preparation. And, it's clearly the biggest indicator of success. Something that Richmond season, their grand final, was a perfect example of it. They had a brilliant pre-season and barely had an injury. And, combined that with being a good side anyway. Which is why I think we're in with a good chance this week.
All right, well, let's go on with the positive. Can you give us some of your reasoning behind this positivity?
Give us 25 positives.
have to admit I've had to work hard to build up the positivity. But here's my logic, such as it is. I think that this break will need to obviously be a reset at the club. But it was really good when sent them away for 4 days.
I'll stop you there. We'll talk about that for a second. What did you think about getting the 4 days off? The coach giving them the 4 days off. You think that will refresh them? Any negatives to that? Any negatives to that?
Well, look, I think it's probably recognition that there needs to be a circuit breaker. They couldn't do it with obviously couldn't do it with a 4-day break. Half of that would be your holiday, wouldn't it? Obviously there needs to be some sort of circuit breaker. There's been some concerning talk, and I don't know whether in the club imminent about the sort of discussion about money and whatever, and that sort of stuff is bound to come up when teams not travelling well. But it has to be said that you wouldn't be super impressed if you were Wiedemann asking for $500,000 and Tubby Taylor comes in and he's not ready to roll and then goes out. So who knows? But I think it's obviously they probably all needed a bit of a break and a circuit break. Hopefully it's positive. You don't know until after the fact, I guess. Let's hope that they can go away and not train themselves, because that's why I think the problem with pre-seasons, I think, is if they don't get miles in the leg, it's almost impossible to get in the legs during the season. That's what the physios always say. A bit of a 10-day break, they won't be able to get much fitness in if they're away for 4 days, but at least they'll recover physically and mentally.
B-Man, you there? Or we lose you?
Yeah, no, it's still there. So, I think for me, the big factor for us against Hawthorn is that, one, they're struggling, and they won't expose us in the way other clubs are. They haven't got the talent that they did in terms of holding onto the ball with their kicking. They haven't got pace. They're right down there in the pace with us and the Swans. So I think of all the teams, actually, they match up well against us at the moment. I think with that break at the G, they just got over the top of Carlton. So they've got now a 6-day break coming into that game and now a 10-day break. And I think that hopefully they'll come out and impose themselves.
Yeah, let's hope. Any other positives, or is that it?
Well, I thought I'm doing my best there to bring some positive. I think let's see. I think Lockhart, that goal we kicked was, if he could do that 20 more times, that would be a positive.
Yes.
I definitely think that that's a positive. I think the injuries, like the injury to Jetta and Viney, they're not great, are they? No. I guess, the footy cliche is that soldier out, soldier in, but I think we're drafting from the reserves at the moment, almost literally. A big positive is Omac went back and had 20-odd touches and was in the best. So he might come back and stiffen that spine back there. That could well be a positive, I reckon.
Yep, it could be. I'm so sapped of any confidence at the moment. I'm just. I look at our fixture, and I can't see where we're going to get a win. I know you're confident this week, and I hope you're right.
Well, confidence probably not quite the word. Hopeful.
Hopeful, yes.
I mean, one good positive could be if Omac does come back and lines up on Ruffy, the game day thread. I mean, Dazzle Davey might have a sort of online explosion.
Yes. And what were you saying?
Especially with A and B being back in the team.
Oh, yes. He's a favourite whipping boy for sure. Great Viney, what were you saying?
No, I'm slightly envious of Bin Man because I don't have the, not positivity, but even the hope at this stage. So I wish I did. And as you know, I'm usually a pretty upbeat about things, but not at the moment.
one positive for me this season is, as I flagged it before, I bet on footy a bit, and I predicted correctly, as it turns out, at the beginning of the season that despite the media talk and the buzz, that scores would actually go down, and it's proven correct. And there's a bet in footy you can do, which is total match points, the cumulative score of both teams together, and it's just been a goldmine backing unders. And the first week, I put it out there to friends to say, this is a bet, put your bank on it. And of all the games, all 9 games, the first 8 all went under. So did terrific and set up my season basically on that. And ironically, the one that didn't was the last game where Freo kicked 140 odd points of all teams. So, but it's been a very low scoring game, and I think that's sort of the factor for us in a way, because part of the reason it's been so low scoring is that how much teams are holding onto the ball, and teams are denying Melbourne the ball, denying our wave sort of rugby league style run. I think that's been a real strategic issue for us.
Yeah, it definitely has. John Demonic in the chat room says that our last win was against the Hawks, and I'd love to recreate that night. Just don't have that confidence at all.
Well, if we do win, I'll be the first to put on Demonland that the Hawks are our buddies.
Yes. That would be nice. Certainly would. Anything else, Mr. Big Man?
No, that's probably done me for confidence and hope. I'll get back to my frittata now and listen to the rest of the show as I'm cooking. But mark my words, we'll win. Man. Not easily. 23 points.
Well, I'll take that. I'll at this point, I'll take 1 point. But we need to also improve that percentage again, because I don't like being on the bottom of the ladder.
We could for the finals. Let's not completely rule it out yet.
Oh.
So we're 16 games to go. That's correct, isn't it? We've got 16 more games. I think you'll get in with 12 this season. It's going to be incredibly even in that middle band of things. Clubs, I'm positive of that. So we need 11 from 16, and that's not crazy sort of numbers. 15 from 16 is difficult. 14 is pretty difficult. 11 from 16 is doable. And, we'll start getting our players back in 6 or 7 weeks. So, I think that 11 from 16 is not outside the realms. There was a great thread that Ash 33 had about Gary Lyon, a great Gary Lyon video that he posted. And in that thread, he mentioned when we made the finals, and I think it was 97, and we were down 0-6. So where there's some confidence, there's some hope.
Yeah, look, that's all good and well, but then you have a look at our draw, and we've got to play Collingwood twice still, Richmond again, West Coast twice still, both of them effectively away.
Well, as the cliche goes, if we don't beat those teams, we don't deserve to be there.
Of course, yeah.
So that's a good effort, fellas, of getting on the podcast tonight.
It was hard.
Hopefully we'll get a win, and it'll be a bit easier next week.
It's hard. I tell you what, when you have these losses, it really is hard. I can't imagine doing this podcast during those years, those really, really lean years. There's probably a reason why we weren't doing the podcast then. Thank you, Big Man. We did have someone called in while you were on the phone, but I couldn't take them because that would have put you on hold. So,
well, I'll jump off and then they can call back.
Yes.
So good on you, fellas.
Thanks, Big Man. Appreciate it.
Bye.
If the caller who called while Big Man was talking, you used to be able to sort of take someone else, but I think if they call via Skype, I think you can get them on, but they were calling on a mobile. So if you, caller who's listening, you want to give us a call back, we'll take a call. Otherwise, we'll probably wrap this up in a minute or two. It's taken every bit of effort to talk about the D's. And usually I love talking about the D's, but, you know, it hasn't been much fun to talk about.
Nope.
You know, sort of not total strangers, but friends of mine who barrack for other teams. Well, what's happening? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Excuse me.
Yes. All right. Well, if our calling friend isn't going to call in, we might wrap it up there. You confident as Bin Man? As I said, he didn't say he was confident. He was hopeful. Are you as hopeful as Bin Man?
No, not at all.
At the moment, I just don't want to get thumped in games. I'm back to that.
Yep.
I'm like, just don't make it ugly. But I'd like a win.
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah. I noticed after every game, there's been a sack so and so thread, and I think someone merged them all into a mega thread.
That was my work.
Was that? Yeah, I thought so. Well, because otherwise
names progressively got added to it, so
Yeah.
I kept building it, and then it became a mega thread.
Yeah.
Most of them were started by the one person, of course, Olesic. So yes.
Well, look,
Don't like that kind of spamming.
Yeah, look, that's what happens when you play. You know, people get angry. They get upset. They need a venue to vent, and you know, you either come to Demonland or some form of social media to vent. People need it. All right, but you know, we move on. All right. That's been our show tonight. Where is our theme music to take us out? Here it is. Well, Grapeviney, I hope we have something better to talk about next week. I hope we have the will to come on next week. Lose or draw. I'll take a draw at the moment. Let's hope it's a win. All right. Thank you, Grapeviney. Thank you, Bin Man, and thank you, unknown caller. We'll be back next week.